Welcome to the Aligned and Magnetic podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Ashley. I'm an ICF certified business alignment coach, and they call me the money mindset and manifestation queen. I'm here to help you make your vision for your life and business a reality and doing it in a way that lights you the fuck up. If you're ready to build an aligned, magnetic, and profitable business so that you can live the life of your dreams, you are definitely in the right place. In this podcast, I promise to provide you with the raw lessons, the tools, and powerful questions to help you on the way to creating success your way. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's dive in. Hi, loves. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have a guest, Carlene. Carlene is actually a past client of mine and is a level 3 Reiki practitioner, a human design reader, and the co-host of in-person guided healing events. She helps others align their life to manifest their future through human design, Reiki, and teaching manifestation principles. Welcome, Carlene.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here today.
It's so good to have you here. I feel like it's been so long since we've actually chatted and connected, so it's really nice to reconnect. So today we're kind of just going to be talking about Carlene's journey with alignment and how she's, how she started and how she got to where she is today. And she's going to give you a ton of awesome tips and tools along the way. So let's start out with, you're doing some really amazing stuff right now, Carlene. You and your friend / co-host, you're selling out it's Rejuve, right?
Yes,
Rejuve events. Yeah. They look amazing. They're healing meditation events. You are giving all of these life-changing human design readings. I've been seeing them in your stories. But of course, we don't always end up where we started. So why don't you take us back to the beginning, thinking like before even Rise Goddess, maybe like when we first met, and tell us where you started out in business.
Okay, so thinking back to the very, very beginning where I first met you, was through, I guess I would say like a mutual friend. She had this monthly, I forget what it was called, but in a sense, it was a monthly healing group. And that's where I first started and I met you. And that is where I would say I first ever started my journey, because it's in there that I actually learned about human design.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about human design.
We were. That's the first place I ever heard about it. I got so excited. And then it wasn't until this year that I finally decided to break out and do human design readings, but I digress.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So that was the first investment I ever made in myself. I think it was like $30 a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, $30 a month investing in myself. What am I doing? And then that's where I had met you. And we really vibed. I loved your energy. And I realized that I really wanted something different for my life than what I was doing currently. I would say I was lacking a lot of confidence. I wasn't sure of myself, constantly looking outside of myself for the answers. And just honestly really scared to be myself, because I feel like we're really conditioned to, follow the herd, don't be weird. And it's really that like you have to be part of the pack mentality kind of thing, which I understand, goes way back to caveman times of like, if you're on your own, you're gonna die. But, we're in a society now where that's not,
we don't have to act like cavemen anymore.
Yeah, we can be ourselves. So we really vibed. And I think then I went into your group program, which was Rise Goddess. So then that was the second investment I ever made for myself. And again, this 2020, I was off work due to COVID. I was at home, and I remember I was so nervous for it. I ran over to my boyfriend after our what do you call it? Connection call. And I was like, Andre, I really, really want to do this. I was like, should I do this? And he's like, yeah, I really think you should. Like, you love it. You're so excited. I know you're nervous, but you got this. And so I dove in and I did Rise Goddess with you and the wonderful group of women that was in it. And that was pretty life changing. I learned a lot about myself. And then I realized I just really wanted more. Because at the time, my goal was I wanted to be a fitness coach. I wanted to create my own fitness programs. But I also wanted to link mindset into it because I knew that mindset was the biggest component as to why people were having issues like sticking to fitness programs, following through, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, if I can do fitness and mindset together, I'm like, that would be really, really life-changing. But I had a lot of blocks for that. And then I was like, well, I would love to work one-on-one with you. And then that's what we worked through. And well, you helped me to really dig deep inside myself, to know myself, and then to figure out what I actually really wanted, which wasn't that at all. I was like, I don't actually want to do fitness programming. Yeah.
It's so funny too how, because I have such a similar story to you, right? Except instead of fitness, it was health, like nutrition. And I was like, I know like there's a bigger reason why people eat terribly, and it's mindset and motivation, right? Like I am super into psychology and mindset work and all of that stuff. So yeah, I totally resonate with where you're at. And I think let me know if this resonates with you, but I feel like when we're just starting out, it's almost like we have to grasp onto the first thing that we know in order to gain the confidence to be whatever it is that we know or desire in the future.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Like looking back now, I was like, oh man, like why did I even start there? Like that's not what I
Yeah,
wanted.
right?
I was like, yeah, exactly. And then like I should have just like went and did this to begin with. But no, it's totally true. I had to start where I started to get to where I am today. Especially even knowing my human design profile.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense for
Mm-hmm.
me as well. So knowing that about myself, like knowing my own personal human design really explains, like when I look back at things of like how I went through it the way I did. Because a quick little caveat for human design, my profile is a 1-3, meaning that as a 3, I need to trial and error things, and I just have to almost throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that I've become a pro at learning all the ways that the spaghetti won't stick to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that so much. Yeah, we really, and me being a 4-6, like the first 30 years of my life is really about trial and error. So I totally resonate with that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurship is kind of like the archetype of the 3 profile, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
It's
I
like,
would agree.
yeah, trying on different ideas, kind of figuring out who we are as entrepreneurs, as service providers, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then through that, like through working with you, I've really started to build confidence in myself and to see where I was and then to see where I am now. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when we first started working together, like one-on-one, I asked my boyfriend, I was like, have you noticed a change in me? And he's like, yeah, he's like, you're way more confident in yourself. And I was like, heck yeah, I am. And just the boundaries I've been able to set in my life.
Mhm.
And also with the confidence, you start to really care less what people think. I mean,
Totally.
it's still always there a little bit. I feel
Mhm.
like you can never fully get rid of it. You have your up and down days, but I feel like on a whole, I care a heck of a lot less what people think. And it's because of that that I feel like I'm even able to do what I am today
Mhm.
doing, because Carlene 3 years ago would not have even tried what Carlene of today is doing. Like, she would have
Mhm.
been way too scared. She would have been like, people are gonna think I'm weird as hell. I'm gonna be alienated.
Totally.
That's, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I
Yeah.
remember too in the beginning, it was like a huge confidence was a huge thing that we worked a lot on. We spent a lot of time working on mindset. And like we said before, it's kind of what set the foundation
Yeah.
to be where you're at right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. There was a ton of mindset work that
Mm-hmm.
goes into it, and I still feel like I do things today that we worked on, like getting to the root of things. That's what we did a lot. You were really great at asking me questions, and the answers that I would give, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, you're right. Like, I'm the one that's standing in my way for that."
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was really cool. I think I remember one of them. I was like, "Well, I don't think I can do fitness things yet because like I don't look like the people on Instagram."
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Well, why do you think you can't coach because of that?" And
Mm-hmm.
just we unraveled it and unraveled it. And I was like, "Whoa, I'm standing in my own way here."
Mm-hmm. And those are so common for, the beginning stages. Like if there are any new entrepreneurs listening to this, if you are standing in your own way, it's like totally normal. But it doesn't have to be the norm moving forward, right? I think, working on your mindset, getting support as you can is super, super key. I want to go back. So you covered the 3 part of your profile.
Mhm.
I would love to hear you share a little bit about your 1 side of your profile and how that's impacted your journey.
For sure. So the one means that you really like to gather a lot of information on things. Like when you are excited about something, you dive deep down the rabbit hole and you just gather all the information you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I find you're really a knowledge seeker. And sometimes you feel like you can't do something until you know everything about that topic. So
Mm-hmm.
that is actually something that I would say held me back a bit. And until I really realized and recognized that, that's once I was able to recognize that's what I was doing, then it was easier to move forward. And I had a lot of coaching on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I always felt like, okay, well, I don't know enough yet. I can't start. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best things you ever told me was you just have to be a couple steps ahead to help
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because internally I was like, no, I can't help someone until I know absolutely everything. I'm not going to be good at it.
I have to be perfect.
Yes, the one comes with a lot of perfectionism like that.
Yeah.
So it's really great in the sense that you can dive deep and get all the information and you become a wealth of knowledge, but it also has that other side to it where you almost become paralyzed and you don't want to take a step forward because you don't feel like you're the expert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. So once I was able to really well, and I had to do a lot of work on that to start to be able to move forward. But yeah, then I really did realize, like what you said, you just have to be a couple steps ahead
Mm-hmm.
because then you're teaching to those that don't know anything about it. So to someone who doesn't know anything about it, being a couple steps ahead, you are quote unquote the expert.
Yeah, exactly. They think you know everything, right? Which, I
Yeah.
mean, nobody ever knows anything. Not anything. Nobody ever knows everything there is to know. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I love that. So I'd love to know, and I'm sure the listeners would love to know as well, what were some of your biggest hurdles that you can remember in the beginning?
My biggest hurdles in the beginning, having the confidence and strength to even start. I remember being absolutely terrified to start showing up on social media.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest things, because I was like, I feel like I'm going to be judged so hard. So overcoming like fear of judgment, that was really, really huge.
Just a question around that first before we move on. So, what did you notice? Like, after you overcame your fear of judgment and you started putting yourself out there, what did you notice about, showing up and judgment and how that all works?
Yeah. So when I did really start showing up, I had a lot of great feedback. It was really cool. In the beginning, when I first started, I don't do this anymore because it didn't feel in alignment anymore, but I had Wake Up Wednesday.
Oh, I
And then,
remember that.
yeah, I would give little like motivational pep talks on Wednesday. And I had a lot of people tell me that they really liked it. And I still always like get comments and feedback of like, oh my gosh, I really love what you're putting out there. I really love your reels, all of that kind of stuff. So when I really started to authentically show up as myself, I really got a lot of feedback. And it was funny, like my friend was like, oh, my grandma saw you on Instagram and she really likes your reels. I was like,
Oh
your
my
grandma
God.
watched me on Instagram? That's really cool.
That's amazing.
Right?
You're
Yeah.
touching the lives of grandmas.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And then the stuff that I thought would happen didn't happen. Like, oh my gosh, people are gonna like be messaging me hate comments. Like, I can't show up. I won't be able to take it. And then I was like, oh, well, nothing's actually happening.
Yeah,
So
when you
I
hear
guess
the
I'm good.
crickets. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's so funny. Yeah, I feel like I went through exactly the same thing. And like, well, what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if they come back and like hate on me for saying something or messing up or whatever?
Yeah, that was a really, really big fear of mine, is like, if I say the wrong thing, because again, as a one, I'm like, I have to have all the knowledge. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, if I say something wrong and I don't have all the knowledge on it, then they're gonna come after me. Well, knock on wood, that has not happened yet.
Yeah. Something that's coming up for me right now is just like embracing failure. How does that resonate with your journey?
It resonates a lot, especially as a 1-3 profile, because like I said, for a 3, you really trial and error a lot of things. You fail a lot, not in like the bad sense, but it's like you're trying to see the best way for something to work. So something that I've embraced, I'm trying to make sure I say it right, you either win or you're learning. So it's always learning, never failing.
I love that.
Yeah, if you look as what you would call a failure as a learning experience, then it really changes the outlook on everything.
Absolutely. I mean, we've technically failed several times in our business, but like we were talking about earlier, every step, every thing that we do, everything that we work on just builds on top of the other. Like I wouldn't have the business I have today if I didn't start with health coaching.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had posted a reel recently on getting certificates, right?
Oh yeah, that was in my Black Friday edition. I was thinking of you when I was recording that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I felt that one. I was like, oh yeah. Because again, as a 1-3, needing to learn and know everything, I was just trying to collect all of the certificates that I possibly could, because then I was like, if I have all the certificates and all the knowledge, then people will see me as worthy. and then they're gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something else I had to work through. Because, like you said in your reel, are you going after something because you actually want it, or are you just trying to collect and collect and collect?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I was a chronic certificate collector.
Yeah,
'Cause
I remember.
yeah,
I feel like every weekend you were coming and saying like, "Oh, I'm going for like this acupuncture certificate, this cupping," which is all part of your career, right? But I
yes.
just remember it was like thing after thing after thing after thing. And then I was like, I wonder when she's gonna like step into her full potential.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I was doing one thing after another, and I felt like I had no break in my life to actually like breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm happy to say that I've worked on that a lot, and I don't do that anymore.
Your collection is already full.
My collection's complete.
Yay. I'm sure there will be more things down the
Yeah.
line, but for now, you're like implementing what you've learned, and that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me so happy to implement everything that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I go for something, I'm like, is this a tool that I really want to learn and I will use? Or is this just something that I'm trying to gain for people to see me as worthy?
Yeah. I love that. Mm-hmm. What can you say about, so you're showing up so powerfully now, like all of your reels, I feel like are very, what I would call magnetic. Like, I feel like I see the true Carlene in your reels. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So before you were buying all these certificates and programs to learn, what is it like now just showing up super authentically and in alignment for you?
It feels amazing. It feels like I'm in flow, that I'm in flow with the universe, and that when I'm just being me, as you said, yeah, I'm really magnetic. And again, that's part of my human design aura type, is that when I am showing up as myself as a manifesting generator, my aura is very magnetic. So it feels really amazing now. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing or pushing anything. Like before I put out any content, I'm like, am I excited about this? Do I feel good about putting this out today? Yeah, okay, great. I'm going to put it out there. It's not like I'm doing some sort of strategy and I have to do this, this and that. No, I'm just putting things out as they feel good to me and share things as I'm inspired to share them. And they've really been hitting home for a lot of people. Like the last reel that I posted about, about my toxic trait is I have to just add so many things to my plate.
Yeah, and then burnout, right? Or you're like tiptoeing around burnout. I remember I liked that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of people have talked to me about that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. It's a
yeah,
thing.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know I've got my to-do list right beside me over here that's been like staring at me with a plethora of projects to get to.
Typical MG.
Right? Yeah. So you're talking about how, people have been responding to your stuff. Is there any other, I know like people like to see physical evidence. So I'm just wondering if anything, like what have you noticed shift? So there's the feeling part of it. What have you noticed shift on the physical external level as well for you, if anything?
Yeah, so meditation events have been absolutely amazing, making really great connections. There's also a group that me and the co-host, her name's Megan, so that me and Megan are a part of in our city. And in that, we got asked to speak at one of their brunches. We got contacted by a couple of people to do the meditations in their personal spaces because they really liked our energy and what we're doing. Another event in January we're going to be a part of in our local city that we got asked to do.
I'm going to interrupt really quick here, and I just want to bring your attention to how Carlene is speaking about these manifestations, about these opportunities. She is literally saying, Someone asked me, they asked me, and I want you to know that this is what happens when you are in alignment. People come to you when you are putting yourself out there in a way that is aligned to you. When you feel aligned on the inside, you become a magnet for opportunities that are not only meant for you, but that you also desire to help you reach your biggest goals. And like, you never know. If you listen to my episode with Jenna, you never know what opportunities are going to come your way. And like Carlene said, she really started her business not having a ton of confidence and direction. So if you are somebody who is listening and you resonate with Carlene's story and you're really ready to get out there in a bigger way, overcome your fears, overcome your mindset blocks, let me know. I'm going to post a link in the show notes to set up a 30-minute connection call. We can chat, and I would love to see how I can support you in getting out there in a bigger way, because I know that if you're listening to this, that you have an impact to make in this world, and it is totally possible for you to make money doing what you love.
I had my very first coaching call, because as you know, I gained my coaching certificate, and that person came to me.
Oh my God. So you have your first coaching client? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So they contacted me saying how much they like my energy, and they asked if I did that, and I was like, yeah, I do coaching.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. So that's what I really want to share, and like share as evidence of like when you are in alignment, when you're being your magnetic true self, people come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even have this posted anywhere that I did it, and they came to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is the universe showing me right now that you are being magnetic as hell. Run with it.
Yes. Yeah. I love that so much. And what an amazing thing. Like, obviously, it's helpful to have our services posted and to have a
Yes.
website and all of that, but it just shows the power, behind the magic of the universe. And
Mm-hmm.
how when you are really in alignment with who you are and what you're here for, and you're lit up about what you're doing, like I say this all the time, but clients come out of nowhere.
It's true. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, really true. We think we have to have that control of like, I know exactly who's gonna come to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
no, you really don't.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't know where things are gonna come from, and you have to be open to that as well. One of the things I say all the time, and I wonder if I learned this from you. I probably did. I feel like I did. The this or something better. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
learned
And
that
I
from
I
you.
learned that from
Yeah.
someone else, so don't worry.
But that has been a staple in my life,
Yeah.
is that you can't hold on to something so tightly.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like, this is my dream, I'm gonna grasp it. I mean, obviously I have dreams and aspirations, but let go of the way that it's going to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna come to you in the best possible way. And if you grasp too tightly onto one certain way and one vision of it, when that gets here, that might not even be what you end up wanting.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of takes away the like excitement. You know
It
what I
does.
mean? If you know every detail and how it's going to come to you, I don't know. That sounds boring to me.
Yeah, it is. I really find whenever I just go with the flow and just see how things turn out, when you go in with zero expectations, that's when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're just free to experiment and be like, oh, hey, this happened. Great. Like, for example, me and my boyfriend took a trip to Banff this summer. Really spur of the moment. We were supposed to go camping. Campground was flooded, and we are like, well, plane tickets are like $50. Great, let's go here instead. We had an amazing time, and like little synchronicities just kept happening through the trip, and it's like, It's because it was so aligned that when you just go with the flow of things and how they're happening, that is the magic.
I love that so much. And I remember seeing your videos. I feel like, I don't know if you were at Lake Louise or where
Yeah.
you were mountain climbing, and it looked so cool.
So for that, actually no, sorry, it was a different hike, but
Mm.
we got the last parking spot
Oh
in
my
the parking lot.
God.
They were turning people away after us, and I was like, "Oh, meant to be here."
What I love too is like, I mean, this magic, this flow is available at any moment, you know,
Yeah.
but like you said, we put up so many barriers to being in the flow because we're so focused on what it is that we want from life.
Yeah, exactly. We really try to control things. And the most beautiful moment you can really have is when you realize you're not really in control of much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can control how you react to things and your personal actions, but you really can't control much else.
Mm-hmm. So we've been talking a lot about manifestation, overcoming hurdles, mindset blocks,
Mhm.
alignment, a little bit about human design. I'm curious what alignment means to you.
What alignment means to me is when things feel easy. They bring me a lot of joy and satisfaction, and I feel really lit up and energized by it. Like, for example, the coaching. When that happened, wow, I was so lit up. It was just so in flow and easy. And that is my so in human design you have self not self themes, and those are the themes that kind of tell you. So when not self theme is frustration for me personally, it's different based on your type, and then the self theme is satisfaction for me. So that's how I really know when I'm in alignment and when I'm feeling it. And that's what I try to recognize in my day-to-day life as well, to help me know when I'm in alignment and if things are correct for me, like the meditation events. They feel so amazing. So I know that's in alignment for me.
I love that.
Yeah, the previous um when I was doing fitness coaching did not feel in alignment for me. And then I switched to mindset, and
Mm-hmm.
that felt more in alignment. But then I realized that I wanted to teach more than just mindset. I wanted to do manifestation, which I mean
Mm-hmm.
has the mindset in it, but I really love and feel satisfied when I can teach people um how to manifest and how to work with the universe, how to be in flow. And then with that is human design, because if you know your human design, that's how you can really work with the magic and really know yourself
Mm-hmm.
through that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why my coaching is coaching but with human design, because I'll teach you what you honestly already know about yourself, but when you learn it, you're like, yeah, that is me, and it gives you full permission to be yourself. We're so scared to always be ourselves.
It's like validating, like, oh, I know this about myself, but I've been too afraid to be that because of whatever, whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. And I love that you're helping more people with that too.
Yeah, it feels absolutely amazing. I feel like within the past month, things have really started to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
Just opportunities keep coming up, and it's been amazing because for a little while I've felt like I was on the edge of
Mm-hmm.
something. I was like, I know something great is coming. It's happening. It's happening. I can feel it. I can intuitively feel it. And it feels like I just went over the edge, and then it's like, boom,
Mm-hmm.
waterfall of things.
I love that so much. Those moments definitely come. And I feel like sometimes it's so challenging when you're not seeing, you know, what's like the fruits of your labor, if you will, you know?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly what is happening now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I was planting seeds for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They were growing. I started to get a few fruits, but now it feels like the tree is just blooming with fruits, and it's,
Yeah.
wow, this is what I was setting myself up for. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just really getting through that, I'll say, dark period
Yeah.
where you're doing the work, but you're not really seeing anything yet. And I think that's where people really get caught up on, is like, they're like, I'm doing the work, I'm doing the work. Why am I not seeing things? It's like, it's all gonna come to you in divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rush things, you can't force things, because if you do, it's not gonna work out the way you want it to.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of people quit after like the 1 year, 2 year mark, especially, entrepreneurship, because it's hard to be a
It's
business owner. It's hard. It's not easy.
yeah.
We can make things easier, by being in alignment, but that doesn't make the journey itself a piece of cake. I love everything we're talking about. I want to come back to human design and how that's helped you to find your alignment. But before that, I want to ask if you can tell us about what it was like to not be in alignment. What was that like for you?
It felt absolutely terrible. It
Okay.
felt
It does feel terrible. I can attest to that.
yeah, because it feels like you're working against the grain, because
Mm-hmm.
you're putting stuff out that you thought you wanted or thought you should be, and you're like, it's not working, it's not working. Well, of course it's not working. That's not what you're meant to be doing. If you're doing something because you feel like you should be doing it, that's your first step to fix.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I see a lot of people online shoulding themselves like, oh, I should do this. I should be working. I should be creating reels. And you can sense the energy,
Hmm.
when people feel like they should or have to do something, you can kind of feel that it's just not, I don't know, it's just not right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like I said, when I put out my content, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't feel like putting out something that day, I'm not going to do it, because it's going to feel forced,
Mm-hmm.
and people can feel the energy behind things.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, question, one more before we go into human design.
Yeah.
What would you, so because there's people who go through, and I'm sure you've been through, like, periods where it's just like everything's hard, everything's like out of alignment, nothing feels good, but there's this thing in business where we have to keep planting the seeds and we have to keep showing up and we have to be consistent, whatever that
Hmm.
means to you. So how do you kind of balance that?
To keep showing up. And yeah, I I learned that it's okay to take a bit of a break,
Mm-hmm.
because I had up some points where I was like, I can't. So I gave myself the grace to take a bit of a break and then start to figure out, okay, well, what do I want to do? What's a next step that I can take to, as you say, still be consistent, but not have it feel forced? Um, because there was a few points this year where I was like, I don't even know what I want to make for content anymore. I just can't. So
Mm-hmm.
then I would just kind of go with whatever felt the most correct for me in the moment, and then just take baby steps that way, because sometimes you just honestly don't know where it's going to lead you. And then when you are just doing things that feel good, that's how you kind of can take steps forward, even if you don't really know where you're going at the moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So focusing still like on what lights you up and what does feel good, and taking the
Yeah.
pressure off to like create something that's like meaningful or valuable or has like a clear purpose. Amazing. I love that. Thank you. So, human design. Tell us about how human design has helped you find your alignment or understand your alignment.
So it's it's helped me in multiple ways. To start with, my type, I think I've said it, I'm a manifesting generator, which when I found that out about myself, I was like, oh, okay, this really makes a lot of sense, and this makes me really happy. Because as manifesting generators, we like to do a lot of different things at once. And to know that about myself was just so validating because, yeah, I always felt like I had quite a few things on the go. And it's like, well, when are you going to just stick to one thing? Well, I'm not meant to stick to one thing. That's why I currently, have my current day job. That's why I also do Reiki, the meditation events, all of that, because it's very fulfilling for me to have all those things at once. When I was just doing one thing, I was like, this can't be it. I was like, this just does not feel right. So that has helped me stay in alignment. Just knowing that it's healthy for me to have a few things on the go. Knowing, as I said earlier, my self, not self themes, because those are the little clues for me to know when I am or am not in alignment. Like whenever I feel frustrated, I know that's a time where I need to take a step back and see, okay, why am I frustrated? Is this still correct for me? Or has the situation changed where it's not alignment? Because you can go into something and have it be in alignment to start with. You can. But things can change. Like, for example, if it's a job, when you first start, it's really in alignment. And then maybe the manager changes and then it's not your vibe anymore. So you also have to give permission to yourself to leave something when it's no longer in alignment, which was something that I found was hard because I was like, well, it was in alignment to start with. Why can't I stay here? Why is this not working anymore? Because things change.
Mm-hmm. That is life.
Yeah. So it was also really understanding that as well, knowing my strategy in human design, which is to respond.
Mm-hmm.
That is very helpful as well, because then that's how I also see things as if they're in alignment. Because I'm like, am I initiating or am I responding?
Mm-hmm.
And when I can really differentiate and know,
Mm-hmm.
then I can make sure that I'm in alignment by responding to things around me. My authority is a huge, huge part. So
Mm-hmm.
in human design, there's what's called the authority, as you know. The authority is how you're meant to make decisions. And finding out I was an emotional authority, which means I have to ride the wave of my emotions, I have to give it time, I have to sleep on things. That was really game changing for me for being in alignment, because I would say yes to things way too quickly because I would get instantly lit up, and then I would say yes, and then I would sleep on it and be like, why the hell did I commit to that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So by using my authority and listening to it, and it's still a work in progress, I would say, because it really takes time to, finesse and get really good at listening to it. But that has been an absolute game changer for me, for not overcommitting myself, for staying with things that are in alignment and keeping the no's away.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious so before you said you used to commit to a lot of things just because you were excited about it. What's changed about how you respond to people when getting invitations or when asked for something? How do you handle that now, knowing that you have emotional authority?
So I usually say something like, okay, like I'll have to get back to you on that. I have to check my calendar, because I really do, because with so many things going on, and I have to check to make sure I'm not overbooking myself, because
Yeah.
that's something to keep me in alignment as well, is like not overdoing it. So I have to use my emotional authority of, okay, can this thing, first, am I excited about it, but can I actually fit this into my day without overdoing it?
Yeah. Like, do I have enough energy for this?
Yeah.
Interesting, because I feel like the generation that we come from, aka our parents and our grandparents, I don't know if you notice this, but I feel like everyone older than me is like they're massive overcommitters. It's like they do so much. And I don't know if it's just me because I like live a slow life now, but I'm like, how do you commit to so many social gatherings and so many things, you know?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. That is the generation that is previous to us. And then it's a lot of pressure on us to break it
Mm-hmm.
and to
Yeah.
start creating that norm of it's okay to not do everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to not to go to all the gatherings. It's okay to take time for yourself and rest. That is
Mm-hmm.
one of the hugest things that I feel like we have to overcome from previous generations is the hustle culture. Because for my day job, I only work 4 days a week. And I remember my parents in the beginning being like, why aren't you working 5? And I was like, because it's a lot.
Yeah. And I remember too, because we worked on manifesting that opportunity for
Yes.
you to only work
Yeah.
4 days, right? And I remember that being like a hard thing for you to wrap your head around as well at that time.
It totally was. I was like, well, how am I going to only work 4 days a week and make enough money?
Mm-hmm.
That was the programming, was
Yeah.
that you have to work 5 days a week so that you can earn enough money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I make way more money now working 4 days a week than I did working 5.
Yeah. In an
With
office that's like better environment too, right?
Yeah. And I got to set my own hours. I can take days off as needed. I don't really have a lot of problems doing that. So, yeah, it's crazy how we manifested that.
That was like one of my favorite things. I mean, I loved everything about our work
Yeah.
together, but one of my favorite things was seeing you go from like a space, a workplace that you didn't really enjoy to literally because it I remember you feeling like this is going to take a while, like this is like my 5-year vision or something like that. And
Mhm.
when we really dug into it, it just happened so quickly. And then it was like, I'm booking this many clients a day and then seeing this many patients and then this many. And it was like, wow, I just like that blew my mind for me.
Yeah, I would agree. That is one of my favorite things that we did together because, yeah, like I said, I didn't think it would be possible for me to work 4 days because I was like, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
new grad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can I just do
I
this?
have to
Like, this is
prove myself. I'm worthy. I promise. That little open heart center.
Yeah, and to this day, I am still only working the 4 days a week.
I love that so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Awesome. I feel like there's so much more that we can talk about, but I do want to make sure that we keep this episode as not as short as possible, but
Yeah.
within good listening range. So, tell us, okay, if there's anybody listening to this and they're like liking what you're saying about alignment, but they're like way stuck back in doing a ton of things that they don't enjoy. What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's new to the conversation of alignment?
I would say learn just the basics about your human design so that you can start to understand what alignment means for you because it
Mm-hmm.
is different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And to know, like I said, the self, not self themes, your strategy, your authority, to know those basics really help you to take your power back to know what is correct for you and what will help you flow the most with the universe instead of going against the grain. Because once I started to understand that about myself, that's when things started to flow.
Yeah, I love that so much. And so, Carlene, for anyone listening who wants to take that first step into alignment, Carlene has a freebie, which is an intro to human design guide, right?
Yes.
And she also has a mini human design reading. And for anyone listening, you can get $5 off with the code Align5. I'll make sure to put that in the show notes. But on top of that, I haven't told you this yet, Carlene. I'm actually going to gift somebody, as part of the podcast launch party giveaway, a mini human design reading.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
someone listening is going to get a mini human design reading. You can find Carlene on Instagram at Modern Spirit Society. Her website is modernspiritsociety.com. Anything else that you want to share today, Carlene?
I think we covered it all.
We covered a lot.
Yeah, we did. Leave it
Yeah.
to 2 manifesting generators to
I
cover.
know, right? And I feel like we could still talk for like hours.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, love. As you heard, I am going to be giving away one free 30-minute mini human design reading with Carlene. This is my gift to you. But what you need to do is send me a DM on Instagram at aligned and magnetic to claim it. It's first come, first serve. So if you send it to me and you are the first one, you are going to get the reading. If you're ready to go bigger, let's have a conversation. Super unattached, like this is your journey, no pressure, but I totally would love to help you see how we can make your vision a reality. So go ahead and look in the show notes and set up a one-on-one connection call with me, and I will let you know if I can support you and how. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. If you like what you heard, I would love it if you left a review. Make sure you check out my website in the show notes to get the links to the launch party giveaway. There are over $1,000 worth in products and services to help you grow and expand. And until next time, I'm sending you waves of abundance.